Today we're going to cover the 9th, 10th, and 11th precepts. The 9th one, which is the one of two precepts dealing with right speech, says, "Do not say untruthful things for the sake of personal interest or to impress people. Do not utter words that cause division and hatred. Do not criticize to condemn things of which you are not sure. And always speak truthfully and constructively. Have the courage to speak out about situations of injustice, even when doing so may threaten your own safety." The words of this precept are simple and clear. They're also pretty strong. When we speak, we can create a world of love, trust, and happiness, or we can create a hell. We must become aware of what we say and the results of our speaking. All of us have experienced how negative speech can create hell and how loving words can shift things for the better. Right speech is free of lying, gossip, exaggeration, harsh language, and foolish babble. And I just added to that that's all the things we witness going through our minds. And I was this week reading some of the teachings by Anandamayi Ma, and there was a quote I wanted to read from her, and in her way of saying this is, "To find fault with others creates obstacles for everyone all around, for the person who criticizes, for the one who is blamed, as well as for those who listen to the criticism. Whereas what is said in a spirit of appreciation is fruitful to everybody." And I was reflecting on that, how that does create obstacles. And right speech builds understanding and reconciliation. So in essence, it builds the bridges we need between us. Thich Nhat Hanh points out that creating time in our lives to practice silence can be a benefit in developing right speech, as at times of silence, it provides the opportunity to reflect and see ourselves more clearly, to see the people around us and the beauty of nature. And the ending part of this precept, having the courage to speak out about situations of injustice, even when doing so may threaten our own safety, is really potent. And how many of us are brave enough to speak in this way? And I'm really finding that our practice together and the Sangha and the teachings are just such encouragement. And I feel myself taking some new steps. So deep appreciation for all of you. The 10th precept continues with standing up to injustice. It reads, "Do not use the Buddhist community for personal gain or profit, or transform your community into a political party. A religious community, however, should take a clear stand against oppression and injustice, and should strive to change the situation without engaging in partisan conflict." Applying our spiritual awareness to help solve the problems created within the level of consciousness where much of the political world functions is a significant contribution I'm seeing that we can make to our human evolution. That speaking in a clear voice without being overtaken by the forces of polarization that are so alive in the world right now, by finding common ground and drawing forth the best in others to build understanding and reconciliation, is all skillful means that is just so needed. And using higher consciousness to transcend partisan conflicts and influence our community allows us to apply and develop our mindfulness for the benefit of all. Thich Nhat Hanh points out that we can follow the principles of the Four Noble Truths when we address injustice. And I found this very helpful. Starting with the first noble truth, which acknowledges that there is suffering, we can fully expose the truth concerning an unjust situation. Following this with the second noble truth, we can enumerate the various causes of the injustice and consequential suffering. Then, using the third noble truth, we can address ways suffering can be removed and make obvious the purpose and desire for removing the injustice. And then completing, we can speak to the way to end suffering, the fourth noble truth, by proposing measures for shifting into just ways of living. And the 11th precept goes on to speak about right livelihood. Do not live with a vocation that is harmful to humans and nature. Do not invest in companies that deprive others of their chance to live. Select a vocation that helps realize your ideal of compassion. Practicing mindfulness at work helps us discover whether our livelihood is right or not. Applying this precept implies participating in a profession that harms neither humans nor nature, physically or morally. In thinking about these words, I just had to add or do as little harm as possible. It just feels like we're at this time where so many of us have become hypersensitive to the harm being done by relying on the infrastructures of modern life that we all live, our daily lives with. For me, it sincerely raises the question of whether it is possible to live without doing some harm. When we are driving and flying and shopping in grocery stores and getting food in plastic and, all the things, And so this one is, I think a lot of us have it on our hearts, and it's big. And Thich Nhat Hanh does acknowledge in his writing about it that if we are able to work in a profession and live in a way that helps us realize our ideal of compassion, we should be grateful. And he went into talking about a couple different things. I picked as example, he was talking about how millions of people making a living off of the arms industry. And that one's big for me, living here at the base of Los Alamos, and the desire they have for increasing pit production again. It's big. He says, manufacturing and selling weapons is certainly not right livelihood, but the responsibility for the situation does not lie solely with the workers in the arms industry. Individual karma cannot be separated from collective karma. We need to take all opportunity to awaken ourselves and others. All of us, politicians, economists, and consumers, share the responsibility for the death and destruction caused by these weapons. We must use our mindfulness practice to see clearly enough to speak out and organize national debates on this huge problem. With continued global discussions, solutions can be found. New jobs must be created so that we do not have to live on the profits of weapons manufacturing and other harmful industry. So he's really encouraging us every day to strive to live simply and sanely in contribution. And his life was certainly an example of these conversations